So you want to get into mining and make a fair whack of credits. But how do you use the tools? Let's take a look. Greetings Commanders, if you're new here, I am KreeKree and I'm an Elite Dangerous YouTuber and streamer. Speaking of, catch me live on Twitch at twitch.tv/KreeKree. I'm live from 1 PM Thursdays to Saturdays Australian Eastern Standard Time. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use your limpets and analyzer, your mining lasers, the abrasion blaster, the subsurface displacement missile, and the seismic charge launcher. I'll also go through a few extra tips that will help you make the most credits of your time out in the belts. But we'll get into that later. Okay, so now first what we'll do is that we will firstly find somewhere to mine. I was going to save this for a bit later, but one of the tips that I would use is that I would use the Miners Tool website. Is this here. So this tool here, it shows you basically where the main things that you can mine for. So what you firstly put is your system name that you're currently in. I am in Rajita. Okay, so now say I want to go for low temperature diamonds. Okay, so based off how close I am to the nearest low temperature diamond overlapping system, the closest one is 324.72 light years away. Now because I do have materials, that means that my jump range is lowered a bit because I have some limpets on my ship at the moment. If you're able to jump without the limpets and you're able just to create them or synthesize them in the location, that's probably best. Otherwise, if you're not able to, then make sure that you have some with you, because you'll need to have your prospector and your collector limpets available. Alright, so now that we have that there, let's go to our location. Okay, so now this is where the hotspot for the low temperature diamonds is. One thing that you'll need to do is that you'll definitely need to use your detailed surface scanner to scan the ring so you can see these hotspots like they are now. So we're just going to go to the triple low temperature diamond hotspot here and get mining. Okay, so now going into the tools and how to use them. So I'll show you in order of how to use them. So the first thing that you want to do is that you'll need to make sure that you have your pulse wave analyzer and prospector out. Go ahead and send out a pulse wave. The pulse wave analyzer does have a radius. I'm not sure what it is, but it can only search so far around, so you do have to look around to find an asteroid which is dense in materials. Typically the asteroid will be bright yellow. The more yellow it is, the denser it is of a material or materials. Then you'll need to send out your prospector. So let's see about this one. We'll send out our prospector to see what materials is high. Make sure that you're not going faster than your prospector, otherwise you will accidentally destroy it on your ship. Target your prospector as well as it goes towards the asteroid, and you'll also notice that you can only have 2 prospectors out at a time. Once you have a third one out, the first one will be destroyed. Okay, so let's go and find an asteroid that we can blow up. Okay, so we've found an asteroid. This one we're not able to blow up, but I can show you some of the tools. So the first one that I would do, this is the order that I use. So I use the mining lasers. You have to be within 500 meters for them to work, I believe. It was 550. Believe these ones that I have on this build. But what you want to do before you start mining the asteroid, make sure you have your cargo scoop out and you have your collector limpets launched. Okay, so for my build I can have 3 collectors out at once. Alright. Now make sure that when you're using mining lasers that you have all your pips to weapons so they don't overheat too quickly. Okay, now let's have a look in the context to see if any of those subsurface and surface things are able to be mined. Nothing that we want, so we'll just make sure we get the low temperature diamonds and move on. Now to use the abrasion blaster, this is for the surface materials. Gotta rotate with them and follow. There you go. Okay, so now I've found an asteroid that we can blow up. It's not materials that I'm looking for, but for the purpose of showing you how to do it, here we go. Okay, so you've seen how you use the mining laser, making sure that all your pips are 2 weapons, and that you obviously have your pulse wave analyzer going so you can see how dense things are. And now the prospector has been shot to the asteroid so you can see the materials there, what materials are there, what percentage, and you can see that there is a core detected for a bromelite. What we'll do is that we've already shown you how to do the mining laser and the abrasion blaster. So now I'll teach you how to use the subsurface displacement missile. So we're looking for, that is close by, so there's this one here. Now the trick with this is that when you shoot off the missile you do have to hold the button down and then release once you see on the left hand side the blue area, or at least the area that indicates that there is a material to be brought out. So here you go. We're holding down, deploying drill, and release. Extraction successful. You're going to do this about 3, 4, 5 times depending on how deep the subsurface this area is. and then once it's all used up, it'll simply disappear. The last thing that I will show you is the seismic charge launcher. So this is how you actually blow up the cores. So you'll be seeing these symbols here, the ones that kind of look like they have a V in them. So you have to select them, see what strength they are. So this one is average, and you'll see that there are 3 bars, both underneath where it says seismic charge as well as around your reticle. Okay, so what we want to try and do is that try and use an average strength. So obviously in the middle somewhere. And now you'll see that we have about 2 minutes to get what we need into the asteroid. Okay, so an average one in there. So this one is high. Okay, excellent. So you can see it's gone up. So average. So another average should be able to get us into the blue area. And now it's not quite in the blue enough, so I believe that we should probably... Okay, this is average, but I'm going to put a low in there. Still got a minute to go, so I'm not stressed about time. Go around the other side. So, and a low should be enough. Oh, okay, maybe another low. Maybe another one. Ah, perfect. Optimum yield range, right? Excellent. So now, once that has reached the optimal, I would suggest getting about maybe around about 1 kilometer away from the actual asteroid. I usually stay within 1 kilometer simply because of the effect. I just love the explosions. Let's check it. So cool. Okay, so once the asteroid has been exploded, you'll see that there are a lot more, as we like to call, pimples. So obviously we'll need the abrasion blaster for that. So then you can go pop those pimples. Also you will notice that once you're in the cloud here, your ship's temperature will drop very low. But don't stress about that, you can't actually get affected by it. So yeah, just go in here, pop these pimples. Obviously making sure that you've got your collector limpets and your cargo scoop open, and you can collect the materials. Okay. Now that is done. Now I'll go through how to make the most credits for your time. But first I'd like to say, if this has helped you, then consider subscribing. It's free and it helps me more than you know. Anyway, to those tips. Okay, so we've gone over the first site here, which is the miner's tool. The next is that if you're interested in something other than what is listed here in the miner's tool, you can check out EDDB, which is the Elite Dangerous Database, in the commodities section. You'll be able to find up here if you don't actually have, if you've gone to the systems, etc. And then you can go through what you want to mine for. So it would be metals and minerals. So for example, see here, Alexandrite. We click into that. Selling Alexandrite is actually really profitable right now. There's no known hotspots or overlapping hotspots, so that's why it's not listed in the miner's tool. You can also do the same thing through Inara if you would prefer to use Inara instead of the Elite Dangerous database. Another thing that you can do if you like to keep things spicy, you can use the RES, which is the Resource Extraction Site calculator here. It is a bit more dangerous, as I said, if you like things spicy. So you do have more reward, but there are more pirates hanging around those areas. So you may need to have maybe a friend come with you and protect your ship and blow up any pirates that come after you. So you can go to there. It doesn't tell you exactly what the materials are, but they are typically the ones that are listed in the miner's tool. Now for these links, I will link them in the description below. Now using the combination of how to use these tools, the tips and sites that we've discussed, you're bound to make millions. Be sure to check out my mining build videos and freebie linked down below if you're new to Elite Dangerous. And of course, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Fly safe, Commander.